Hi, this is Bob. I am here showing you tonight just a quick way to use your grill instead of heating up the house with the oven. And in the summer, you don't want to do that. We're going to cook some lemon butter asparagus on the grill. We're going to do some lemon potatoes and some salmon. It's real easy to whip up a pretty nice meal on the grill without heating up the house, and that's what we're going to do. So first of all, one of the things we do, we actually coat our asparagus with lemon butter. It's just some lemon oil, or pardon me, some olive oil and butter and lemon juice. Just mixed it up, heated it in the microwave, and we're just going to pour it over the cold asparagus. And we're going to do it on the cold asparagus because now, when we kind of toss that asparagus in this dish, the butter is going to stick to it better. So that's the thinking there. And you'll see in a little while, this is going to kind of clot up on the asparagus, and it's going to be ready to grill. So that's that part. The potatoes, so there's a lot of ways you can cook potatoes on the grill. If you've got a flat sheet, you can cook them on a sheet on the grill. We usually just go ahead and put them in foil in potato packets. So what I'm going to do, I've already taken the potatoes. I've cut them into a pretty uniform size. You don't want real big pieces of potato because they take forever to cook if you're cooking them on the grill. So I'm just going to lay them out in a layer on the foil, and I've already tossed these in a mixture of olive oil, salt, black pepper, and garlic. Lots of garlic. The recipe I'm using, and we'll put that up on the screen here. The recipe that I am using is just a recipe I googled on the internet. So I do a lot of when I want to cook something, I just kind of Google on the internet and see what we can find. That's a lot of times a good, quick, and easy way to find lots of recipes. So we've got, and you can see our potatoes are kind of well coated here. We've got lots of garlic, and I'm getting the rest of this garlic into the packages themselves. I'm laying these out in one layer because we want these to kind of be able to cook flat. And we're just going to roll up the packets just like so, and cooking on the grill. Cooking on the grill like this is always a little fun and messy. By the time you mess with potato packets and stuff, you always get a little bit of, and we're doing small packets because there's just two of us. You can put more. It's best to make these single serving size because then you can customize them. So for instance, one person wants cheese on their potatoes, the other person doesn't, and so on. It's real easy to customize your packets for each person. So we're both just doing our lemon potatoes tonight. And the lemon, you've noticed we haven't done that yet. When these come off, we're going to toss them in a lemon vinaigrette with some thyme that we've made. With, again, just some lemon juice and some olive oil. And there'll be some thyme and chives in there. So, and these are generally going to go on first. So I'm actually going to come out now and I'm going to turn on the grill. And you don't have to worry about the grill being good and hot for these at first. And I use a gas grill. Gas or charcoal will work for this. If you're doing charcoal, if you use, some people use starter fluid. If you use starter fluid, make sure that burns off. It's going to leave a really nasty taste to your food if your starter fluid doesn't burn off. A better way, if you use charcoal, is to get one of those chimneys that you can use to build your fire. It'll build a super hot fire for you without any starter fluid. You can just use paper at the bottom of it. Okay, so I'm just going to throw these on the grill. These I'll move up once I've got the grill going here. Oh, all right, so here we are. We took a little break there to get some other stuff out here. Basically, and there's Kika, one of our dogs. Basically, what I'm doing right now, we are heating up the grill. One of the things that really helps cooking any kind of meat on the grill is have that grill really good and hot. So right now, you've got a gas grill. Temperature is right there on the grill, and you want it to be holding a nice steady 450 or so. After it hits 450 on the thermostat, you want to let it keep going for a bit because you want your grates to be good and hot. It's the grates that are really important. Now I'm going to open it up because I need to move these potatoes up onto the rack. I'm just moving those so they're out of the way. And they're already starting to get good and brown, I'm sure. So here we go. The other thing that's really important, in addition to having a good hot grill, is you want to have it good and clean. I don't grease the grill. I just try to keep the grill seasoned just like you would a good iron frying pan. You can some grates. Now, I do find that sometimes stuff sticks a little bit, but generally it does pretty well. I'm going to close that back up and let it go. Wow, that was nice. Good catch there. Keep from having to re-sanitize the spatula. Okay. While we're letting that grill finish heating up, I want to talk a little bit about the salmon that we're going to cook. I told you a little bit about the asparagus and the potatoes we're cooking. The salmon that we're going to cook is just about a pound of salmon. When you buy fish at the store, a lot of people know this, some people don't, so I'm just going to say it just to make sure. The best way is to check and make sure you're getting good fish. Check and press on the fish just with your finger, and then take your finger away. If that fish bounces back to its original position, in other words, you let it sit there for a second and then you don't see your fingerprint anymore, that's good fish. The other way to know is if the fish is starting to smell a little strong, that's usually not good fish. So those are a couple of things. If you're getting whole fish, you also want it to have a nice clear eye. If the eye's starting to get cloudy, it's not great fish at that point. So just some things to be aware of when you're buying fish. Generally, salmon is already coming to you cut because it's come off a nice big fish. So if you just take your finger, touch it to the salmon, and when that fingerprint pops right back away, you know it's good and fresh. So we've got the salmon. We marinate it in just a basic teriyaki ginger glaze with a squeezed ginger from Spice World, and this is just a Kroger teriyaki pineapple juice marinade. It's not terribly expensive, and it's really good. The total cost of this meal is actually pretty low. I think it's around $5.50 by the time you get some asparagus and the potatoes and just the odds and ends. We actually have, you can see behind me a little bit here, I've got an herb garden. If you have any room at all, even if you live in a small apartment or a small house, you see we've got a real small courtyard here in our townhouse, anything that you can grow to get good, fresh flavors in your food will always help. So we grow mint, basil, thyme, sage, a couple kinds of hot peppers, and I actually got some packets of seeds this year for cucumbers and beans just to try that out for container gardening. So if you see me at Northside Branch in a couple months when we've been able to reopen, hopefully, you can ask me how they're doing. Okay, so our grill is back up to 450, and it looks like it's smoking pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and put the salmon on. So here is our salmon, and I'm just going to kind of reach in here and pull it out, and I'm going to put it on the grill skin side down, just like that. And I'm putting it on right there because sometimes that skin does stick to the grill, and it's fine, it's going to burn off real well, but then I'll just slide the spatula under the skin and flip it over when it comes time. And let me just check here. And so I usually go somewhere around 6 minutes aside for this. That seems to usually give me a nice, evenly cooked salmon. If you wanted it a little rarer, some people like their fish a little bit on the medium rare side, 4 to 5 minutes aside is good. If you want to make sure it's a little more fully cooked all the way through, probably 8 minutes aside. Don't go longer than that. You don't want to go too long. But this is a really, really easy thing to cook. I encourage you to try it. So we are going to take this stuff inside and then we will be back. Okay, so it's been about 7 minutes or so now, and I'm just going to kind of open this up and check on it. So I see a lot of people take the salmon and they just flip it skin side and then flip it over and pull the skin off. If the skin sticks to the grill a little bit, a lot of times what you can do is you can actually just slide a spatula under it, take it off the skin entirely, and just flip it like that. Now the other thing that I do, this is going to make this salmon less pretty, but I think it makes it taste better. I usually take, see that dark stuff there? That is the fat off the salmon. There's nothing wrong with it. It's healthy. It's that omega-3s they give you if you have high cholesterol. But you can take and scrape that off, and your fish will also have a milder taste. Fish with a lot of fat content, and notice how it's concentrated along that lateral line, a lot of fat content in fish is going to cause it to have a fishier taste. So I just kind of take the spatula and scrape a little bit of that off. And you can see it just flares right up because it's fat. Okay, so there's our fish. We're going to let that go a little longer. And I'm just going to shut the grill down. And that skin is actually going to burn up and it'll clean off the grill pretty easily. So one of the things that happens sometimes when you're cooking fish is it sticks to the grill some. So it's not going to have that perfect restaurant appearance. It's still going to taste great, trust me. But if you want a better appearance, you can get, they make, basically it's just a grate that is in the shape of a, you make like a sandwich out of it with the fish inside, and it's got a little sliding clip that holds it, the handle sticks out from the grill, and you can cook it and then flip it over. So that is a good way if you want your salmon to have that picture perfect look. We're more worried about how it tastes, so we don't worry so much about the look of the salmon as we do the taste. So, salmon's cooking. It's got probably another 5 minutes or so. So it's getting close to time to put the asparagus on. So what we're going to do, just talk a little asparagus here. We put it in the lemon butter, and you can see it's kind of, the lemon butter's kind of clumped up around it. So when I lay that on the grill, it's going to melt right off. Asparagus doesn't take long to cook on the grill, especially with this. This is the good stuff. It's some nice fresh stalks. I've got one that I pulled aside. It looks like it had started to bolt a little bit anyway. Just to kind of show you what you want to do, especially the young asparagus, you can just kind of cut the ends off about that far up and you'll be fine. But if you get the thicker asparagus, probably you need to feel it to see where it wants to break, because you want the tender part, and out here at the end of the stem it gets a little tough and chewy. If you bend the asparagus, it's going to naturally find a spot where it breaks. When it does that, that's the good part, and you just pitch this part. Okay, so that's just a little info about the asparagus. Now I'm going to go ahead and put it on. My method for cooking the asparagus is to go ahead and lay it out. Uh-oh. Look at that. So that's not normal. Usually you lose them. When you lose them, it's going to happen. If I have a variety of different thickness asparagus, I lay the thicker ones out towards the back of the grill where it's hotter. And I can tell you this is a very, very hot grill right now. So this asparagus is not going to need to cook long at all. And that's just the butter coming off of it. Lots and lots of smoke. Okay, now this is one of my cues on potatoes when I've got them in a foil packet. I know they're doing the right thing when they start to swell up like this. So those potatoes are also about done, which is a good thing. We want everything to kind of be finishing up about the same time. Okay, so got everything on the grill. Probably got another minute or two with the salmon, and then everything's going to be done all at once, and that's, so we'll be able to get everything to the table and be ready to eat. We'll just need to we'll need to have a few minutes to let the salmon and the asparagus rest a little bit, and while they're resting, we will finish the potatoes in the lemon and thyme dressing that we've made. Okay. Let's take a look here. Okay. That salmon is pretty done. And one way to know if your meat is doing well is if it comes off the grill pretty easily. In this case, I left a little bit of salmon. Salmon's going to stick a little bit for me. And the asparagus, the way I know this is done, if I pick a piece of asparagus up and it's got that kind of limberness to it, it's ready. And I can tell you, as hot as this grill is, and as young as these asparagus are, they're ready. So we're going to put those on the plate, and I'm going to take these potatoes down, set them on the front of the grill for just a bit, let them get heated up a little bit more while I take the plate in, and then I'll come back out to the grill. We'll pull these potatoes and we will finish them in the kitchen. Okay, so now we've got the asparagus, we've got the salmon. Actually cleaned up the grill a little bit. We'll put on some footage for that. With the magic of editing, we'll make that go after. And again, guys, recipes are showing up on the screen and stuff as we go. I'm just going to add them. If for some reason I'm not able to do that as part of this, because this is not actually a live program, it was planned to be live, but with some reopening scheduling stuff at the library, I needed to go ahead and do it ahead of time. If I can't get it in there live, I will put recipes and things in the comments. So, I've got the potato packets. When you make potato packets, one of the things you want to be careful with is opening them back up. They will have a lot of heat and steam captured inside the packet. You can kind of see that coming out, okay? So, be careful with that. And we may have some barking dogs here in a minute. If we do, I'll call them back in. Good girls. Thank you. And here is our other ones. And these potatoes just kind of, they're beautiful. They're browned up nice. I'm just going to dump these into this pan. And I glance inside my foil packet to make sure I haven't lost any of that delicious golden brownness. And we're doing great. So here's a quick look at what those potatoes look like. And then we're just going to take them, and I've got some thyme and some chives and some salt and pepper. And I'm just going to, I tend to be, especially with potatoes, very liberal with pepper. And I think everybody knows this by now, but fresh ground is always better. And the one I use is actually one of those multiple peppercorn blends. It's got like the green peppercorns and the white and the black and the red. And then we'll just put a little extra salt. And I did salt those as well. Come over here and get my whisk. Keep in our herbs. So we're going to just kind of whisk this up a little bit. Again, this is just some lemon juice and olive oil. And we're just going to whip that up a little. And dump it over the potatoes. And now, I'm just going to take and toss that a little bit. And here we go. Now, we're going to let those set for just a little bit to kind of let the flavors marry a little. I'll flip this camera around and just show you real quick. So while the grill's still super hot, I've actually turned it off now, but notice I've got this wire brush. I'm just going to hit the grill with this, and if your grates are well seasoned, and the only thing I ever have trouble with sticking is salmon. Salmon is the only thing, or any other fish that I cook. Fish is pretty delicate, it tends to stick. But notice, like this spot here where we had that bunch of salmon, I just left the grill on for a minute after I pulled everything off, and easy cleanup. It's not like, wow, this grill is horribly nasty and I've got a mess now. So just to be clear, so everybody knows, if you keep your grill right after you've used it, if you go ahead and give it a little brushing, if you want, this is a good time to also take a paper towel and some canola oil or something and leave your grill on real low and kind of re-season the grates a little bit. That's one of the reasons why mine stuck a little bit. My grates could use a re-seasoning. I don't use water to clean it. I have heard that if you use water, that will often cause your grill to lose its non-stick properties, just like it would with an iron pan. I want to touch base with one more thing before we stop. When you marinate that salmon, I forgot to tell you when we were grilling it that the goal here, you want to marinate that. We usually do it overnight. We do it, so this salmon that we cooked today, we actually, my wife Susan, who's working hard on the camera here, she actually did that yesterday, and we just put it in the refrigerator in that bowl. Don't reuse any of that marinade. Never reuse your marinades that you're soaking meat in. Those, you just throw them away. If you want to reserve some of your marinade to brush on the meat for dinner, you can reserve it before you marinate the meat. You can just put it in a little Tupperware thing and pull that out. Or you can have, in this case, we've got another little teriyaki sauce that we just put in a ramekin and brush it on when we serve the salmon. So that's, it's really easy to cook this stuff and to cook your whole meal on the grill. It's, I don't know how hot it got today. It was really hot earlier when I was out for a run. I'm pretty sure that our house would have heated up considerably if we'd had the oven on. So all of this stuff, we cooked it right on the grill, and in a few minutes here, we'll serve it up on a plate when it's ready, and we'll show you what that looks like, and then we'll let you guys continue to ask questions in the comments. Share your recipes, things that you like to grill. Just as a reminder, we've got the grill post from Monday that if you respond with a favorite grilling recipe, we will be able to give you, we'll draw from all those people who respond with a chance at a prize. So don't hesitate to get online on lexpublive.org and do that, and hopefully we'll see you at the library soon. Alright, so here it is, all plated up, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this program, and I'd love to hear your feedback if you make this. I think it's a really easy recipe to make that tastes delicious. You can do this recipe with any number of different marinades on the salmon. You know, I know people use Italian dressing, I know people just use like lemon butter, so there's all kinds of ways you can change the salmon. The big thing to remember is It's actually pretty easy to cook on the grill, and honestly, it's pretty foolproof. The big thing to remember is very hot grill, and be sure and go somewhere around 6 to 8 minutes to a side. And we're going to eat this now, so you guys have a great 4th of July, and don't forget to share recipes in the comments.